So today I'm going to show you guys how I breed the Gardneri Killifish. In this tank we have the standard form, and then the next tank over we have the gold version. And this is just a 10-gallon tank with a matin filter in the back. Sponge filter would be perfectly fine too. They like the low flow, I found. So the thing that I have on there is a spawning mop. There's a lot of videos on YouTube showing how to make those. And what the fish are going to do, they are actually just going to deposit their eggs right into the mop. And I like to leave them in there for a day or two before I collect. So I'm actually going to pull this mop out and show you guys the eggs. So what I do is just pull the mop out and give it a gentle squeeze to get some of the excess water out. And once we start looking through, we can actually start finding the eggs. So there's one egg right there. And all I do is pick the egg by hand. The eggs are, they're not too delicate as you would think. And I just put them right into a separate container with some methylene blue. And we'll do that right now. So this is how I incubate the eggs. I keep them in recycled takeout containers, but I've done these before in plastic cups even. You just want to make sure that you have the tank water in there and some methylene blue. You can see the eggs at the bottom. You want to make sure that they're spread out in case some start fungusing up. You don't want them to infect the other ones. And then you want to make sure that you have an air supply in this container. That also helps with the fungusing, preventing it. And you're going to want to check, daily on these, make sure that any are fungused. You take those ones out. Usually I start to see some starting to hatch out in 2 weeks. So once that happens, once they start hatching out, I transfer them to a separate tank and they can start growing up. So these killifish are pretty easy to breed. The setup, like I said before, is very simple. When you're breeding them, you want to make sure that you try to have more females than males. I've done it with pairs before. It's just easier on the females if you have more of them, so the male can focus on one and the others get a break. Feeding them, I've done it before with just feeding. These guys eat flake or bug bites or kind of those simple dry foods, and they'll still breed. But in this setup, I'm trying to maximize the number of eggs, so I give them frozen bloodworms and frozen brine shrimp. And the tank they're in now, again, this is just to maximize, but you don't have to do this. There's no substrate, and it's just a filter in the back. So they kind of have no choice but to spawn. You can see the male there trying to get them to breed now is on this mop. So all the eggs are probably going to be on this mop, but also I have in this tank, this is their main display tank, but I figured I would try to get some extra eggs out this way through a mop in there, and I'm actually getting more eggs in here as well. But they also spawn in the substrate here, and we're missing some eggs, but this is just extra. I wanted to see if I get enough eggs this way, and you could do it this way too. Both are fine. So that's how I breed the Gardneri killifish. If that helped you out, let me know in the comments or leave a like. We'll see you in the next one.